Some media outlets are now reporting that Crypto.com is tempted to do an IPO, but are they truly going public, and what would this mean for the CRO token? Well guys, I would say let's strap in and let's find out. This video is sponsored by Wolfswap. Get ready now for season 15 with more than $12,000 of prizes. On Tuesday, CEO Chris Marszalek of Crypto.com had an interview live on Bloomberg TV, as you can see here in the background. Link is in the description down below. But one of the most important questions is, are you preparing for an initial public offering, an IPO? So basically, are you going to list at the Nasdaq or any other exchange? But as always, his answer was also very vague. He would be a great politician. He did say, though, that they are tempted to do an IPO, and not without any reason, because currently we do have a raging bull market, and therefore also crypto companies are highly valued. And if you want to make an exit as a CEO or as any other manager at Crypto.com or any other founder, the IPO is the best way. So basically, guys, currently they're getting near to a top really of the valuations. And if you might enter a bear market, well, that might dwindle down again. But I think this is not really newsworthy yet, because in the recent AMA, they also talked about the IPO potential. What is important though, and he keeps repeating that they are preparing for potential IPO, but they also like to be a private company. And there are a few major advantages of being a private company as well. As you might know, the crypto industry is still relatively young. Next to, for example, AI, it is the fastest growing industry. And in that environment, sometimes you have to be very quick. And if you are a public company, there are quite some disadvantages. For example, significant legal or accounting costs. But also, this one is important, the requirement to disclose financial and business information. Everything is going public, no more secrets. When I hear Chris Marszalek talking about multiple irons in the fire, it does seem like they want to grow even more aggressively before they want to go public. And I think that also makes a lot of sense. If there is still more growth potential, why would you already do an IPO and sell your initial shares? If you take a look at the top 10 exchanges according to CoinGecko, Crypto.com in the purple started the year of 2025 really strong. However, as the cycle continued, the market share dropped quite significantly. But I think there's also quite an easy explanation for that, because near the beginning of the year and also end of last year, there was a lot of retail interest. However, as the summer continued, that died down a lot. Overall trading volume also died down. So Crypto.com has been really a big retail platform. So if we're going to see more entrance again of retail, Crypto.com, I do believe, will grow very fast. It already started to grow a bit more in the last part of the summer. However, it is still the number 2 next to Binance. So Binance has a crazy market share. I do believe that they still want to get more market share also of Binance. And there is still a lot more growth potential within the overall crypto industry. Next to crypto though, Crypto.com is also acquiring different companies. For example, here they acquired Orion Principles, because they don't want to do only crypto. They also want to offer stocks and also sports contract trading. And I think, guys, they still want to be that one product to offer everything you need regarding finance. Based on all this information, I do not believe that Crypto.com is going to do an IPO in this crypto cycle, but they are still gearing up for more acquisitions and potential IPO in the next cycle. And I do believe, guys, that's a good thing also for the CRO token. Let's talk a bit more about that after the quick word of today's sponsor. Wolfswap is the most used app on the Cronos chain. You can use it to trade tokens, for example, from CRO to Moon or any other currency. But they also have their own contest. And recently, Season 15 launched with more than 10,000 contestants so far. So this prize pool of $12,000 is only growing day by day. You still have 30 more days to participate, because it only ends the beginning of October. Check out Wolfswap in the description down below. Anyways, let's go back now to the CRO token and let's talk about the effect of a potential IPO. And again, I do not think we'll see an IPO in this cycle. But once we start to see an IPO, they're going to create shares and also shareholders. And the single goal of a publicly listed company is to create happy shareholders, either by giving them dividends or by increasing the share price. And that also means, I think, a lot less interest or love for the CRO token, guys. The goal again is make shareholders happy, not make CRO holders happy. The CRO token would remain very important for their marketing. And as long as Chris and also the other founders keep their majority share, I still think there would be some love sent to the CRO token, but the priorities will have shifted. And I think that could be a negative thing for the CRO token, especially because all the responsibilities would completely shift over to the Cronos Labs team. And the question is, how mature is the Cronos chain yet? Do they have enough maturity yet to completely run it on its own legs? That is also why I do believe they created the 70 billion war chest with the Cronos treasury for Cronos Labs, and why they're now setting up also the Cronos treasury company together with Trump Media. Moreover, I also think this subscription model makes a lot of sense now for Crypto.com as well, because with the subscription model, they can create additional revenue sources. And of course, that's great for a publicly listed company. In general, the CRO token would have competition of the CRO shares, because I do think, guys, that crypto and traditional finance are coming closer and closer together. And therefore, also the question is, what do you prefer? Would you guys prefer the CRO token, or would you prefer the Crypto.com shares? Let me know in the comments down below. But I do also want to give you guys the counter argument, because we have seen already some good moves by the OKB token of the OKX exchange. And OKX is also going to do an IPO in 2026. The rumors for an IPO started in June of this year. OKX crypto exchange considering US IPO after local relaunch in the US. So officially it hasn't been confirmed yet, but unofficially it is targeting Q1 of 2026. And again, OKX crypto exchange, they also do have their own token, the OKB token. And you can see on the chart here, it has seen some massive growth leading up to this IPO hype. And I think, guys, like the pre-IPO hype could be great for the CRO token as well. You can see a lot more eyes, a lot more attention to this token, but also to the exchange in general. So leading up to the IPO could be great, but still, we haven't seen the OKX IPO yet. So the question, of course, is what will happen afterwards? Will OKB token have enough legs to run on its own, or will it dwindle down to the previous levels? Personally, I find it quite funny that Chris and their team are really focusing again and again on that IPO potential, maybe to get some similar pre-IPO hype as we've seen with the OKB token, but also like what we've seen recently with the CRO token as well. Keep the momentum going. And that could be, I think, a goal on its own, because again, in this year, I don't expect any IPO for Crypto.com, and therefore we'll typically follow a normal bull cycle, and therefore we can see high evaluations for CRO without the potential issues that shareholders and shares bring for the CRO token. But I do believe for the future, like for fundamental analysis, this is something very important, guys, so stay tuned for more news on this front. By the way, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, strap in for more content, and also if you like CRO, check out this video as well.